This is an SBF update, which is very important, is going really unnoticed by the mainstream media. The crypto media is actually the one who picked up on it. So let's give credit where due. Let's put this up there on screen. So they show that SBF actually had detailed information on Alameda Research's finances as recently as March, according to Forbes. Now, why does this matter? Because SBF was such a narcissist that he actually compiled a Google Doc with his own net worth calculated by his own basically analysis that was sent over to Forbes. Now, that Google Doc, which had a sum of some 30-some billion dollars, according to his net worth, then for the total market, listed in detail the balance sheet and more, both of FTX, of his own personal wealth, and Alameda Research funds directly under management. Why does that matter? Because the commingling of FTX and Alameda assets are exactly what led to the downfall of FTX in the first place after a run on the FTT token. Now, let's remember, in the New York Times interview with SBF, the insane interview which we covered here, he said, quote, "It is not a company I run," about Alameda. Quote, "It's not a company I've run for the last couple of years." Quote, "And Alameda's finances I was not deeply aware of. I was only surface level aware of Alameda's finances." Now, here's the thing. When you actually look at his ownership stake of 90% of Alameda Research and then the 50% of FTX, he actually had that Google sheet which listed directly the assets and the specific coins on the FTX equity in addition to Alameda and its total net worth that he ascribed to himself. He said the Alameda funds under management approximately down to the cent level of what they have. Now, how can you have down to the cent level unless you know what the underlying assets are there? He could claim that he got it from Alameda. I guess that's certainly possible. But again, like, that is when you have a number that is in front of you about the total worth. And clearly, as he has also compiled his own FTX equity, he listed out Solana, FTT token, the Serum ecosystem token. I don't even know what that one is. Apparently, it was worth $3 billion in March, which is amazing. FTX equity. But when you have the $37 billion that he listed on Alameda funds that were totally under management and then putting your net worth at $16 billion, you clearly had a view, at least somewhere, on some spreadsheet of what exact assets under management that Alameda actually had. And also, there's a question here as to, is this really all it takes to get on the Forbes list? We're talking about a Google sheet with 6 columns in it, and it just comes out and spits out like 30 billion. And Forbes just prints like SBF on the Forbes network. It's like, what? That's all it takes to get on the Forbes list?
It's also very revealing. The type of person who would be like trying to get on the Forbes Billionaire List and like working the numbers and working the reps and sending them, like wasting your time when you could have been figuring out that your company was about to collapse. Instead, going back and forth with Forbes about what your theoretical net worth was, which ended up being less than nothing. But yeah, in that interview we played with Andrew Ross Sorkin in the New York Times, it was his classic defense over and over again was like, oh, I just didn't know.
I had no idea.
I had no idea. I didn't even know we gave, we bought this multi-million dollar beach house for my parents. I had no idea. What happened to the money after the collapse when like assets were being basically, ripped out of FTX? I have no idea what happened to that. I didn't even know we had this kind of exposure with Alameda. I didn't really know what Alameda was doing.
Right.
This just shows you proof positive in case there was any doubt that he is 100% full of shit. I mean, we can go back to some very basic and old concepts here. When it comes to SBF, he is a con man. That's it. Like, you don't really need to understand anything deeper than this. All of this, there's some people still, after that interview,
they're defending him.
Were like, I think he's telling the truth. I believed what he said. I think he just, got in over his head and he was out over his skis and the whole thing crumbled and he just made a couple of basic mistakes and didn't pay attention to the risk the way that he should, but it was an honest mistake. No. In case you needed any proof, you've got it here.
And Forbes actually even says the level of detail that Bankman-Fried has provided to Forbes over the years shows he had detailed knowledge of some Alameda holdings and at least some knowledge of the transactions it was making, especially in 2021, despite stepping back from running the hedge fund after co-founding FTX in 2019. So it is clear as day.
Baby.
I mean, it was where the bulk of his net worth, or a huge portion of his net worth was coming going from, 90% total ownership. Like the idea that you would own 90% of something and not have a quote detailed understanding of what's going on is
and run
totally
by his
ludicrous.
girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever. I mean,
Right.
we're not talking about like a huge group of people that were running these things. He was clearly very deep into the day-to-day details of what exactly they're doing. Remember, there was also reporting that there was like a back door between FTX and Alameda that basically only he had access to. So, so anyway, he knew what was going on. He knew what was going on, and this also may end up being relevant in a court case in terms of his timeline and some of the things that he has been saying, which appear to be patently untrue.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's been granting interviews all over the place. He had one with a editor-at-large at The Block, a 2-hour interview. Frank Chaparro, which apparently just posted Unusual Whales, apparently is doing an interview with him today. The Wall Street Journal has doing an interview. I mean, really, all he continued. The Wall Street Journal just dropped one from yesterday.
Oh, interesting.
Headline was, FTX founder says he can't account for the billions that were sent to Alameda. He said, quote, I have little insight into the workings of the trading firm, even though he owned 90% of it. So his new line is, I had no idea FTX was, sending all these customer funds over to Alameda, when I simply don't believe that, based upon the fact that he is able to provide an accounting of that when Forbes wants to put him on the billionaire list. He's like, oh, and now actually I know exactly how much money they have because now I own 50% of it or 90% of it, and you should use that in my net worth calculation. Very interesting how that all happens.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.